Welcome, guys, to Firefall Live. We're once again back at the Stage 5 studios to talk to you guys in the community. Today we've got some pretty great stuff coming up. We've got some community news to cover. We've got some patch notes that we're going to go over.
What?
Just kind of a quick
Spoiling
preview.
patch notes.
I'm joined today by FadedPez and ThaCheez, a.k.a. Frank and Tony.
Hola.
What's up?
We're also going to have Steve Rich from the art team on set with us to talk about a little bit about what he does and how he got into the industry.
I thought he was a model.
He is a modeler.
Oh.
I thought he was a man model.
Yeah.
Just because he stands naked in the office doesn't mean he's a model.
Well, that's kind of what I figured. That's why I thought it was okay.
That's just his nudism.
I'm going to have to talk to HR about that.
You like it.
That's what I'm going to have to talk to them
Tony
about.
wore pants all week, so let's give him a round of applause.
I did. It was close. I really did not want to come with pants on, but...
The people in the chat are saying I'm sounding a little quiet right now, so if our audio guys wouldn't mind cranking me up a little bit, that'd be great.
Yep.
Or I could speak louder, which is very hard for me to do without yelling.
Yeah, he scares me when he raises his voice.
He scares everyone.
Frank, why don't you run through a little bit of the news? What do we got going on in the community right now?
We got a carpet.
We do have a carpet. If we're on the wide shot, you can see the carpet.
Yes. It's beautiful.
So, we have, we won the most anticipated free-to-play game from MMO Bomb.
Woo! Great job. Thank you, MMO. That's they picked us. That's a staff.
Yep, that was a staff pick.
So thank you very much, MMO Bomb, for picking us for most anticipated.
We went up against Age of Wushu, Neverwinter, Phantasy Star Online, and Dota 2.
Awesome.
So that's pretty big.
It's huge.
That's great. That's great. Awesome. Thank you very much, guys. We also have some polls going on right now.
That's right.
There's the MMORPG fan pick.
Yep.
So that people can go vote for most anticipated and most innovative
Mm-hmm.
games. So be sure to go out to that, MMORPG.com.
Hell yeah. And then we have another big thing that happened was Epsilon. Team Epsilon, Too Easy had announced on Twitter that Epsilon is going to be focused on Firefall. This is going to be the first competitive team that announced that they're going to be focusing on Firefall competitively.
Yes, so that's awesome. That's great to see Epsilon coming in. We've got a lot of esports stuff happening.
Mm-hmm.
So we haven't even started our esports yet, and we're already getting teams.
Yeah, it's great. And Epsilon, as you all may know, they won the tournament at Gamescom for 10,000 euros.
Yeah.
They beat what was Hoder's team's name?
Hoder, Luco, Nero,
Pueka and Green Fox.
Yes.
But
They won 10,000 euros?
10,000 euros.
It's a lot.
It's a lot of euro.
How much is it, Tony? Do the calculation for me.
That's
I'm not allowed to do math anymore.
Almost.
Yeah, you're not allowed to
It's
do
a little over $20,000. US dollars. I went to Europe, so I went and I was like all excited. I had a $100 bill. I was like a 13-year-old. I was like, yeah, and I like gave them my $100, and they gave me back 49 euros, and I wanted to kill myself. So
I think it's like 1.6.
it's gotten better now. It's gotten better now.
So their Epsilon's roster is Too Easy is the captain, and I lost the rest of my notes. We have
I got him right here, though.
Mort, Wittinghaven,
Yeah.
uh,
Let's see if you can remember.
Valuyada,
Valutaya. Yeah.
Valutaya, Mort, and Unfixed.
Unfixed.
Yeah, great
Man.
job.
Good job.
I wouldn't have nailed that
Nice
at all.
job, guys.
And they're back.
We've got some pretty crazy things going on here. Can you guys hear me any better? Let me know, because if I'm just talking and nobody can hear me, I need to know. Because we'll get Gabe out here and he'll fix shit. See? Gabe's out here. Right?
There he is.
What's up, Gabe?
Give everybody a hand.
Gabe,
Fix me.
our sound guy. Here he is.
Boom.
Bam. See how that happens? He's out here like that. That's kind of the power I have.
He is a
right
ninja.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So yeah, it's interesting. They're all of this Epsilon roster comes from Battlefield 3, so be interesting to see what we do in Firefall.
I'm waiting to see if Gabe fixed me. And Gabe gives me a thumbs up. Can anybody else give me a thumbs up?
What do you guys think? Or thanks.
Oh
YouTube.
God, my ears. That's not a good thumbs up. Oh, yep, fixed. Yep,
Okay,
up, yep. Oh
perfect,
yeah,
yes.
thumbs up. My speakers, QQ.
Awesome.
Thumbs up. Yep, yep. You know what? I'm gonna start trolling you guys from now on. Talk quieter,
Oh no.
until you turn up your audio, and then I'll be like, bah! Scare you. It'd be fun. Vex Gaming.
Vex Gaming.
Yeah.
We have a tournament still on for January 5th tier 2
Yep.
tournament. round robin qualifiers, and then we're gonna do a double elimination bracketed tournament.
Terminate.
It's
Terminate.
It's
tournament.
double elimination.
It's kind of a temporary, permanent tournament. So it's a tournament.
It's going to be happening all the
go
time.
yourselves.
Yeah.
What did you say, Frank?
What?
Right here.
So Nero and the Simbausti will be shoutcasting the tournament with Bloody Kulati conducting interviews.
Cool.
I think we're up to 7 teams now. Or Vex is up to 7 teams signed up now.
Yeah.
We got Absalon, of course.
Yep.
Nerds and Spurgs, Captain Z Protoss.
So Nerds and Spurgs has a little drama going on.
Drama.
Drama time.
So-
Tell me about it.
So
I don't know. Just roll with it.
'Kay.
Just keep going.
So Tailspin is listed as a Nerds and Spurgs player, but he has come out and said that he doesn't want to play for Nerds and Spurgs, which is surprising because he is a great player. He helped their team win the first Brawl on Brawl. He has gone on to play Shoot Mania and got 3rd place at the IPL 5
Yep.
just last 2 weeks ago.
And his team got picked up by who?
His Planet Express got picked up by Curse Gaming. So now he is on a professional team playing Shoot Mania, and now he's a free agent in Firefall.
Ooh.
So
we need a draft.
we do need a draft.
That'd be
We need a
sweet,
draft
dude.
and see what happens. But he's not the only free agent that's out there right now.
Oh yeah, we still have Tilter.
Tilter came out a while ago leaving Triple Threat as a free agent, and they're kind of both floating around there. And we haven't heard anything from Triple Threat since that
No,
announcement.
they've been radio silent. I haven't even really seen.
They
Zoidberg
didn't
around.
sign up for the tournament. I haven't seen Zoid either. I think he's still playing. I see his matches come up every once in a while,
Yeah,
but I haven't
Zoid
personally
plays.
seen
I
him.
see him every once in a while.
So there's some interesting stuff happening on there. Tailspin, Tilter, both free agent, both excellent players. We also haven't seen anything from the Ace Stars, Noblesse,
God bless.
that crew that plays
Yeah.
together all the time. They haven't signed up for anything.
They're
So
good. I'm still licking my wounds from 8 stars.
Well, A Stars carries no bless.
hey,
He carries them
Himbar,
hard.
these are people you need to know about. If you don't know about them, you should. These are some of the great players in our game right now. So awesome stuff. But anyways, that's all around the Vex tournament. So we'll see what teams actually show up and play in the Vex
Yeah.
tournament. It should be fun. January 5th.
And also to mention, ABC's in there. It's a cool Matt's team.
Cool Matt Meta, those guys.
Tarza.
Some pretty good players there. So it should be really a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So if you haven't signed up yet, you do have a team. Sign up at vexgaming.com, VEXX gaming.com. They will help you out.
Yeah. And they have prizing for that tournament as well. So out of pocket, they're putting out for first place a copy of Far Cry 3, 2 sleeping dogs, which I hope are not like sleeping puppies or whatever.
Here's your prize.
2 Hitman and 1 Humble bundle.
No?
And for second place, you get
2
sleeping,
sleeping dogs.
and 5 Humble bundles.
Like, you'd have to pick them up, but you'd have to be quiet.
yes.
I get
The
it.
shipping-
No, I got the joke.
Like when FedEx came to pick up
It just wasn't funny.
I don't think so. No, I don't.
I see 8-Bit Tavern in there. I also wanted to throw in there that, you know how we announced about the Baneclaw last Friday?
Yeah.
So they managed to get 180 people on a server and crash it.
Yeah, that wasn't good, guys. Thanks for that. We didn't really want to crash the server, but it's good to know that 180 people can kill Baneclaw in about 3 seconds. I hope you had fun for that laggy, wonderful time.
Yeah, it wasn't me. That wasn't a part of that at all.
Yeah, I think Donnie was there.
No.
But speaking of that, so jumping into some patch changes, we've got some things coming up, including changes to Baneclaw.
Big thing.
So he is a big creature, so.
They're big changes. I'm very excited about them.
So they've actually changed Baneclaw quite a bit, that he actually scales with the number of people that you bring. So bring 180 people, you're gonna die. I can't wait to see that try. But no, if anything over 25 players, yes, anything over 25 players, the XP will be split more appropriately. Players can enter the Melding Dome but not shoot in. So after you die, you can actually come back in, which is a fix for some of those people that do die and come out. But you can't enter in new and you can't shoot in. So be sure to know that. He's also got some new abilities that he's popping out to make him a little harder to kill. He also ramps in difficulty depending on how many people are available and how quickly you're killing him.
Yeah.
So you want to try to kill him fast because he'll build up slowly over time. and you don't want to bring too many people because he'll ramp up depending on the number of people in there. So should make it a lot harder fight. So please be sure to take care of yourself.
Yeah, definitely.
And I think he has a reward now associated with
He does have
him.
a reward for the person that uses the MFD, or we're changing the name.
Yeah. So the person that actually summons Baneclaw will get a special reward. We won't say what it is, but because I think it's really cool.
Yeah.
And I want you guys to see it first. So be the first person out there. Speaking of the MFD, now you actually have to find a melding anomaly in the world in order to place the thing. So you push back the melding, find a melding anomaly, which looks like a little swirling melding. You place the MFD there, and then it spawns Baneclaw. So you can't do that, like find the edge of the melding and go. It might be in different locations. You might have to use all the different amplifiers to push back the melding because it might not be on the third one, it might be on the second one. So you want to kind of do a little bit of exploring first, figure out where it is, and then go out there and try to find it. So.
And another interesting change with Baneclaw, well, a nice change I think is the Hell Claws.
Yeah.
We reduced the amount that spawn, but they don't spawn next to him anymore.
Yeah, they spawn randomly.
Dynamically around.
And
the
they have
dome.
more health now, so you can't just like pop them off in one shot.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a tougher fight. It is a tougher fight. We played it in the office a few times with about 20 people. I think they only killed him once.
Wow.
Really?
So it's a tough fight. So be sure to go ahead and do that. Let us know what you think. We obviously want to know how that works. A couple other changes that are coming up. Glider changes. So we've had, that was one of the big things at the beta weekends. We have a lot of like new user experience things that need to be fixed. So we try to do polish across the board. One of those is gliders that now instead of hitting the glider, jumping up and falling in, you got to deploy your glider in order to catch speed. The glider will deploy automatically now, so you don't press a space, and it will give you a boost right at the top of your apex.
Yep.
So you jump, hit the apex, it'll boost you. You don't press anything, and you just go. You'll hit the space bar in order to stop the glider so that you'll drop and actually do it that way.
Yeah, so if you hold down spacebar, you'll start dropping. Then if you let go of spacebar, the gliders will redeploy and you'll continue on your way.
So that should make it a little bit easier for new players. For the older players, it's going to feel really confusing because you're so used to hitting spacebar. So just know that when you go into the game to not hit spacebar, it'll feel a little bit weird.
It only took me a few times to get used to, so it's not,
It's not too bad, but I don't want the forums to be flooded with you broke gliders, etc. Like this is, we know it's going to be painful for people switching, but the idea is that new players will have a better experience. So, we have matchmaker changes coming up, which we announced before. But this is great. We actually have a lot of changes to matchmaker coming up. We have how quickly the skill level changes is going to be tweaked so that it will increase at a slower rate, but exponentially as it gets later in the day, so like in order to keep the times the same. But hopefully that'll create better matches because as more people come in, you'll now have people closer to your skill level. Because right now you might get a tailspin on a team with
Scotty
all
B.
newbies, Scott Burgess, Scotty B, and you might hit meta on a team with all that's supposedly balanced, but it's not really. It's not very fun for those teams to have to carry. So hopefully we'll balance that out a little bit. But along with that, we've also changed the number of players that are required for OCT and Blackwater, which will hopefully kick those in and get more. Because I think honestly with our PvP, a lot of people are missing out. You remember when we had OCT and that was it?
Yeah.
How many people had just played over and over and over and over again? Because OCT, every game is different. It was a lot of fun. I think people are getting a little burnt out on TDM because it's just constantly, you just kill people. There's no objective.
Yep.
So OCT, Orbital Comp Tower, for those of you who don't know, is a capture point map that will start at 5 players now instead of 10. And it will ramp up to 7 players. So it'll try to backfill those extra 4 players, 5 players per team, so sorry. So it's 10 total players instead of 20 total players. But then it'll ramp up to 17, so give us 14 total players.
Just to clarify, when you say it starts, that means like the encounter, the match starts, not warm up.
You'll play at 5v5.
Right.
Which, did we test the challenge mode?
I didn't hear anything about the
We
challenge
asked QA to see if we could challenge those, because I know you guys asked that last time. I hope so. I think it should work, because honestly, if the encounter starts, it should work. So maybe we can even see some competition happening on OCT at 5v5. But as it ramps up, it'll try to backfill those extra 4 players, and then it will lock it down. And that's another change to matchmakers that prioritizes backfilling players before starting a new match. So your match should fill up before something else. I believe, and it's not on here, but I believe we also removed or at least decreased the XP bonus you get for TDM. in order to try to drive players to these other maps. So play these other maps. Harvester also got decreased from 15 players per team down to 8 players per team to start, and up to 12 players per team as the encounter goes on. So hopefully that'll keep things going as well, because now you're taking it down from 30 to 24 maximum, down to 16 just to start. So that should be a lot more fun, and with the new movement speeds and all the stuff in there, that should create quite a cool battle.
Yep.
So let us know what you guys think about those changes. It should be interesting, especially with the player counts. We don't really know how these are going to feel with these smaller player counts. So your feedback is really crucial to us to let us know, does a map of that size, OCT, feel too big with 5v5 players? It might, it might not. It might feel okay. I don't know. It should be interesting.
It should be interesting.
Cord Watchtower. We changed that so the Watchtowers get taken over by the Chosen.
Yep.
Those have changed to 15 minutes.
Yep, they've been buffed up to 15 minutes. Like, so after you cap it, it's safe for 15 minutes before the Chosen can retake.
Which is great, because then you don't have the Chosen just constantly taking, stopping, taking, topping. It's
like I went on some the tower runs where you just like try and take all of them. By the time that you get to the last one, the first one's already been retaken. It's just like it's like an ongoing circle of life.
So the Chosen will still be wandering around and doing things. They may be doing damage, but they won't be able to hack the terminal. So the terminal will be protected for at least 15 minutes after you hack it back. And their protection stays the same though at 5 minutes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, correct.
So that you can take it over from the Chosen after 5 minutes, but they can only take it back after you for 15 minutes. So that should help create the situations where you feel like you can actually beat the Chosen for at least a time.
Or just like some breathing room. That's all I want. Some time to like take my hands off the keyboard and go, okay, now I'm back.
We have new ammunition modifiers.
This is really exciting.
This is cool. Go ahead and say it.
So the ammunition modifiers. So now we have like different like ammo like modules you can equip. You can activate. So you can fire damage or electric damage out of your plasma cannon. And what this does is, and this will be available in the next patch, and it gives like a damage bonus. What it's going to do
I think
is
it's like a 5% bonus or a 10% bonus.
it's a yeah, I think it's a 5 or 10% bonus. It's small. But what it's going to do is open up the doors for us to use like immunities and vulnerabilities to different damage types in PvE. As far as PvP goes, it's not going to work on players. When you enter a match, it deactivates. You can't activate it in the match. This
is PvE only in open world, but as Frank said, it opens up the doors to some really cool stuff that we can do. For instance, like Baneclaw could have a vulnerability to electricity, but fire damage doesn't do anything. So you'll want to like stack the different bonuses, or you might go through phases where he's has different issues. It's a test to open up the doors for future content that we want to do. So
let me tell you, shooting balls of fire from your plasma cannon
looks really cool.
It's amazing. It's so
really
satisfying.
Adam and the rest of the FX guys did a really great job on
Adam and the rest of Seth.
Don't we have 3 now? I thought we had 3.
Well,
we've grown, we've doubled in the past like 8 months, so I don't remember who works for us anymore.
Wow.
That's great.
Who's Zivas?
That's one of the reasons I invite devs here every week, just so I can meet people.
Yeah. Hi, nice to meet you. I'm going to interview you about what you do. This is just for personal gain.
So we have, they did a great job because it looks really badass.
It looks awesome.
It's amazing.
So expect that in the next patch. By the way, all this patch should be available on Monday. We're trying to shoot for Monday.
Monday?
So we're trying to lock down the build today so that we can get it out for Monday.
I want to address something Proxy Mono said in there.
Only
no,
plasma.
it's not assault only. That was an example. So it's all guns, all weapons.
It's a modifier to all ammunition. So if you're a sniper, it changes your sniper and secondary weapon. It's plasma, it's grenade launchers, it's everything. It modifies it all. It's a temporary boost. So basically it's like, is it a call down still? Or is
I think it's still a call down.
So it's a call down, and then you activate the call down, like you interact with it, and then it changes your weapon type for a period of time. So it doesn't cancel when you switch weapons. It's a time-based thing. So I forget how long it lasts, like 5 minutes, 10 minutes?
I don't know. K-Tab's in there. You could probably give him
K-Tab might be able to tell us what it does if he's listening.
Give us some deets, K-Tab.
So
K-Tab doesn't watch this? Come on.
Anyways, moving on, changes to PvP. Some pretty big changes to PvP.
We have some changes to PvP.
We do have some changes to PvP. This is our big announcement.
Get ready.
Kind of a small announcement and then a bigger announcement following that after you guys freak out. No, we don't need to drum roll that.
Oh, good.
Yes, it's all about the Dreadnought. No, it's not about the Dreadnought. So, starting with this next patch, the constraint system is basically going away in Tier 2. Tier 2 is getting 100,000.
10,000, I think. Or
well, they've moved the decimal points. For what you're thinking right now, it's going to 100,000, but we've moved the decimal points, so it's 1,000 for everything. There are no constraint system anymore for Tier 2. So you can equip anything you want, however you want, any mixture you want, and create some pretty crazy Tier 2 things. This is because people were hitting a wall in Tier 2 that they didn't feel like they could really progress anymore, because after like halfway through Tier 2, you're like, I've equipped everything I can, I've maxed out my constraints, I don't have anywhere else to go with this. Right. So we want to remove that because, and this is the big announcement, next year we are splitting PvP from PvE gear.
Boom!
Damn.
Decision made. Wow. There will not be any tiers in PvP. So what happens is that when you unlock, for instance, a Firecat or a Mammoth battle frame, you get a PvP version of that you can use in PvP.
That's right.
And it's set by the dev team. It has its own weapon set, its own ability set in order to differentiate. But when I see Tony and he's wearing a Mammoth, I know exactly what he's wearing. He has no difference in abilities. There's no vertical progression. It's completely horizontal.
That's how you walk.
Within the differences between the battle frames. Obviously, because they're different battle frames, the abilities may change. But a lot of work needs to happen before that can happen. Yeah. Because we really want to make sure that the battle frames, each individual battle frame, feels unique. Right? We don't want to just have 2 different types of assault and they share 2 abilities and each have one different ability. We don't want that anymore. We want, when I see a Firecat versus a Tiger Claw, that Tiger Claw is completely different than the Firecat. Right. It has got some really badass differences, and there's a lot more to that. There's a lot more to the PvE progression as well. Expect some bigger announcements later. Some of the PvE stuff is still being figured out and still being tweaked, so we'll probably talk about that next year. But Xeno and Crisis and KTAV can talk about the PvP changes, which will hopefully come closer to the beginning of the year, and PvE changes will probably come a little bit later due to the complexity of those changes. So that there, KTAV's leaving. Bye, KTAV. He's like, nope, not gonna answer questions. So that's a big announcement, guys. I know some of you are going to be disappointed about that. Some of you are really excited about that. Understand that we feel like this is the best thing to do for the game. We tried very hard in order to keep those systems tied together, but in the end, in order to create an awesome experience for PvP, and also allow for some really great progression choices in PvE, they had to be separated. So that should have done it in the stream. No. People aren't going to leave. We got some awesome stuff coming up. That's pretty much it for the news, though.
That is pretty much it for the news.
So I think we're going to take a quick break with a video, but when we come back, we're going to have Steve Rich. Oh, that's not it for the news.
We have one more news thing. Actually, a lot of people don't know this, but it has been 1 year since our friend here, FadedPez, has been with Red 5.
A little over a year, but we're celebrating it.
We're celebrating it today at our Tiki Time.
Wow.
And so we wanted to celebrate a little bit here, right here and now, and wish FadedPez a very happy 1 year anniversary.
1 year anniversary.
Happy anniversary, FadedPez. Woo! Yeah! Yeah!
And now when we do this, you guys can take a break. When we come back, we'll have Steve available.
See ya! Bye!
So the weather is shifting and it is time to wear a beanie. Keep your head warm. The flu season is coming. We don't want you to get a cold.
You're talking about seasons. I'm thinking about this is going to be my first winter without my wife. And, thinking about the seasons passing. Christmas time all alone as a bachelor.
We'll get you a hat to keep your head warm as well. I know you're worried about keeping your your head warm.
For richer, for poorer, huh? Deborah? Wherever you are? If you've seen my wife, please call the number at the bottom of the screen.
Disregard that. Call the number.
Last seen with a Turkish MMA fighter. So.
Okay. Get out of here.
I need my coffee.
It got in my mouth.
I have to sit in it now. Not cool.
You'll be fine. You'll be fine. It's non-flammable too, so.
Oh, that's good. Then we can smoke.
I do not condone this. What are you talking about?
So Steve, welcome Steve Rich.
Hi.
Steve Rich is joining us here as FadedPez sits there covered in crap. So Steve,
hate you
what
guys.
is your online name? What do people know you by on the forums?
On the forums, I'm Yameru.
Yameru.
Oh, you're the guy that helps out people with fan art.
Yes.
Yes,
I'm
you're
the
often
one-
in the fan art section.
I'm usually in the fan art section or in the bug section. Like when people are like, hey, this is wrong. I'm like, well, this is why.
So tell us what you do. What is your job title, and what does that actually mean at Red 5?
I'm a 3D modeler or 3D artist. Basically, I make art assets for the game. It's not really split up at Red 5 where it's like, oh, you're a character guy or you're a prop guy. We kind of do a little bit of everything. So things you see built in the world are built by 3D artists. So I'm one of them.
Okay, so that means environment, art, characters.
Yep.
You also work a lot with our outsourcers. For people who don't know, we have an outsourced team that helps us with some of the more widespread stuff.
Yes.
A lot of our cosmetic items and things like that. So what does that entail? What all do you do with that?
With Liquid, I do a lot of critiquing, making sure they're kind of sticking with the art style. I mean, they do a really good job on their own, but then, since they're not in-house, sometimes, you know, you kind of got to be like, we got to tweak this, just like what Adam would do for us in-house.
Mm-hmm. And so you started as an intern.
Yes.
That was, when was that? That was a long time ago. It feels like,
Almost 2 years ago.
wow. So 2 years ago, you started as an intern, no expectations of getting hired full time, and now you're
I always
basically in
wish.
charge of our outsourcer.
Yeah.
So
Well, not completely in charge. I have a lot of help from April and Adam.
basically,
Oh,
I'm trying to raise you up a little bit here, Steve. Come on, man. So what kind of did you do when you were an intern? How did you get into that position? What was your door into the gaming industry?
Well, how much time do we have?
As much time as you want.
So the story of how I got to Red 5 was like a 2-year process.
Yeah.
Where it was, I graduated back in 2008. Graduated college back in 2008, which we all know wasn't exactly a great time to be graduating.
Now, was it a normal college or art school?
I
or-
went to Art Institute, Orange
Okay.
County, or Santa Ana. I don't know why they have 2 names. You know, started looking for work like right off the bat, and a lot of people just weren't hiring. In fact, the day I graduated, one of the big companies laid off like 1,500 people or something. I'm like, oh, this is a great omen, you know? And so one of the things I did to kind of relax from, okay, I just graduated college and you know, I'm still kind of looking for work, is I knew that a lot of people went down to a place called Games Workshop or the Battle Bunker and played Warhammer 40K. And so once a week I would go down there, usually like on a Tuesday when it would be quiet, because usually that's when, you know, people would usually shop, you know. I would go down there and just kind of hang out and see if anything ever came of it. And then one day I was sitting there getting ready to play a game or something, and a guy walks up and he's like, oh, I really like your army. I'm like, oh, thanks. And he's like, he's like, how much would you want for it? I'm like, oh, it's not for sale. And he's like, oh, all right. He's like, well, can I do some of the things you've done with your army? I'm like, yeah, sure. And so he was like, oh, okay, cool. So we talked for a bit, and he walked on and like went back to shopping. And then one of the employees there, who was one of my friends, came up to me and he was like, so that was Mark Kern. And I was like, he was like, you know, World of Warcraft. And I was like, oh, Mark Kern. He's like, yeah, I told him that you just graduated, and he wants to talk to you. And I was like, really? And he's like, yeah. So I grabbed my portfolio, because I always brought it with me, and went there. Talked to Mark, showed him my stuff. Mark was like, oh, you have some really good stuff. Here's my information, you know, come talk to me. He's like, send me an email. And I was like, all right, awesome. Like, I was all excited and stuff. And so went about my business. Little did I know, Red 5 was going through some changes during that time, so I never heard back from Mark Kern. So fast forward almost a year later. Yeah. I am now working at Games Workshop. And they were actually getting ready to do a big change in their company where they were letting go like 80% of their North American staff.
Right.
And so I had come home one night, and the same guy, I was living with the same guy that introduced me to Mark Kern, my buddy Mike, and he was like, hey, my friend John is here to play some games. He's like, you want to play, he really wants to play a game with you. You want to play? I was like, sure. So I started playing. At this time now I was playing War Machine, started playing some War Machine with John. And he's like, yeah, I work for Red 5 Studios. And I was like, oh, yeah. I was like, I've met Mark, blah, blah, blah. He's like, oh, yeah, really? So we small chatted for a bit, and then he wanted to see my portfolio. I was like, sure, here you go. And
For those of you who don't know, John is Crisis.
Crisis, yes.
One of the designers on the team.
Yeah. So then, he saw my work, and he was like, let me get a resume in for you. He's like, write it out, email it to me. I was like, sure. So I emailed it to him and everything. He emailed it back and said it was crap and to do it over. So I redid it.
That's when you know someone wants you to get the job.
Yeah,
you
that's
back
true.
Your resume and say, change this to be this. And, yeah.
He was looking out. And so finally, like 6 months later, I finally got a call, like phone interview and everything. I was so excited and did the phone interview. That went really well. Came in for a real interview, which they completely screwed with me at the real interview. Looking at you, Wendy. I don't know what camera we're on. Yeah, Wendy. Totally.
How did Wendy screw with you?
Dude, all right, so I get into the office, and she's like, what are you here for? I was like, I'm here for my interview today. And she's like, no, Steve, your interview was yesterday. And I was like, no. I was like, it's today. She's like, no. She's like, it was yesterday. She's like, I don't know if it's because you've been unemployed for so long, so you can't keep track of time, but it was yesterday. And she just kept dead face. And John was even standing next to me. He just kept dead face too. And I was like, this doesn't sound right. I was like, no, it's today. And so finally, like after 5 minutes, she kept it going, and she was just like, no, I'm just kidding with you. Because she even got into like rescheduling, and she had like the book over it. And she's like, when can we reschedule? And I'm like, so anyway, so I went through the interview with Adam, got to meet the art team, and then I went back home. A few weeks later, I got a call, and they were like, you know what? It was you. We had 2 interview people, and they're like, it was a really tough call, but we had to go with the other guy. And I was just like, all right, no worries. So now we fast forward.
You know who that was?
It was Barrow.
Oh, okay.
Oh, wow.
Barrow, which I love you, Barrow.
Like stabbed him?
No, it's no big deal. And so then another 6-7 months go by, and I was just randomly emailing Adam for some critiques on the portfolio updates that I was doing, and I was like, hey, this is what I'm working on. You want to take a look? And so he responded, and he's like, yeah, it's looking good. I do this, this, and this. He's like, but really what I'm emailing you about, he's like, would you like a job? I was like, yeah, let's how do we start this? Let's go.
Nice.
So then a week later, I started as an intern at Red 5.
Great.
So
that's awesome. And then it was, how long have you been permanent?
That'll almost be a year now.
Almost.
It'll be a year.
We're out of
February 21st.
Where's the silly string, guys?
Yeah, we're out of silly string. Sorry.
Ah.
We'll find some. Anybody got a bucket of water?
No.
A bucket of water?
I got a mic on. You don't want to mess that up.
Yeah, we can replace that. So what is your day-to-day at Red 5? When you come in the door and work on something, what is kind of the day-to-day job for an artist?
An artist, well,
or you as a modeler.
Well, a lot of the times, like the start of the day, I start out with doing outsourcing. A lot of the times I go through the website, see if there's anything that's been up to date that night and that needs commented or painted over. And then usually from there it's either meetings or modeling. Really, you just kind of sit there and you're pushing vertices around and creating.
So what are the tool sets that you use?
Well, it's a quite large toolbox, and it gets larger as new tools always come out. I mean, one of the big things we use, our main modeling program's Max. 3ds Max. We use ZBrush, 3D Coat, Photoshop. Those are really like the big ones, and there's all kinds of add-ons and little programs.
So as a modeler, do you do the texturing as well then?
Yes, that's where Photoshop would come in.
Yeah. So I heard the UV mapping. So you do the UV mapping, texturing, normal mapping.
Yes, you go from high poly to completion to LODs and collision and levels of detail, the popping out as farther out you go.
Which just gets simpler and simpler the further away you
go. To help with performance, we're trying, guys. We're adding more LODs in, I swear.
So how did you get into modeling and art, etc.? What made you go to art school? What got you interested?
It was actually kind of random. I was going to City College at the time, and I was just completely unchallenged and like really bored. And at the time, I was doing freelance graphic design work with my buddy Ryan, and My my brother, he was just really a neighborhood friend I'd known all my life. He was like, hey, I'm going to the school art institute, and I was like, why are you going to an art college? You can't even really draw a stick figure. I was like, what are you doing? He's like, well, they do video game stuff, and I was like, oh, that sounds kind of cool. So I actually ended up going over there and interviewing and went through their portfolio process where they looked at what you could do, and because I still had art, and I had never opened a 3D program before or anything, and so I went in completely kind of blind. I was like, all right, I'll kind of get a feel for this, see what this is like, and sure enough, I loved it. I mean, I always liked building and painting, like with miniatures and like Legos and stuff, so it was a way to just be creative, and it was a lot of, and then school started, and that was year-round college for art. It's a lot of work.
Do you have any interest in other art that you're trying to do? Like, what do you do on your off time?
I paint a lot of miniatures,
Yeah.
which a
Hey,
lot,
you
which a lot of
and
you guys
Adam
know.
and John and
Me.
everybody are really big into War Machine still?
Yeah, War Machine. Yeah, love our War Machine.
I tried to play it, couldn't do it.
I went into the
Couldn't
wrong
do it.
one.
I bought little miniatures and everything. I'm like, yeah, this is too much work.
Too much work. A lot of people get kind of overwhelmed. It's a hobby. It's like something I've done it for 14 years now.
Yeah.
So it's just something to relax and do, and not on the computer.
Yeah. Like, yeah, I could totally see that. You don't want to separate yourself. So this is your first job in the industry?
Yes, first video game job, and it's been
Yay.
quite amazing.
It's great. Well, I think that's it for my questions. It's very great to meet you, Steve.
Thank you.
Not that I've never met you before.
No,
but
never.
I'm saying that on the behalf of the community. That it's very nice to meet you. Thank you very much for all your work. Now fix all the collision volumes, please.
Hey, if you remember when I first started, OCT had 0 collision.
Wow.
Yes. And now it has all the collisions, and it's not matching the volumes.
So like, what are you doing like right now though, specifically like more or less what are you mostly tasked with now? I heard something about something with the towers.
Am I allowed to say this?
Maybe. I don't know.
We're
Well, I just basically like I heard you've been doing like a lot of kit bashing.
Kit bashing, yeah. We do that to kind of make a process quicker, other than freshly modeling something from high poly to low poly can take, an art asset can take a month, 3 weeks to a month. People don't always realize the time spent to make something. I mean, a battle frame is an easy month. And so kit bashing is a way for us to save time, where we use existing parts, put them together in a new way, and be like, all right, well, this is a new prop that fulfills what we're looking for here.
Okay. Yeah, because I heard that term thrown around a bit, and I wasn't that familiar with it. This being my first job in the industry as well.
Yeah.
So that's cool.
Yeah, it's like playing with Legos.
Yeah, it's playing with Legos.
You're building the Legos that you're going to put together elsewhere. You'll see that all over the world, actually. We have quite a bit of kit bashing, which is tough, though, trying to make sure everything aligns. OCT is built off of a major kit.
Well, the OCT is an actual kit, yes.
Whereas previously we were modeling every building separately.
Yeah.
And that takes a long time.
That was, we're not doing that again.
No. Well, great. I think that's it. I think we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll have Tony back out here, who will clean off Frank with his phone.
No, he won't. He's not touching me.
And then we'll get on some more stuff. So, be right back.
Yep.
Karen, you know what I had for breakfast?
What did you have for breakfast?
Tang. I just had packets of Tang for breakfast.
What Phil's saying is that, it doesn't matter what your diet is.
I am
nutrition.
a hungry bear.
Oh, we'll have a lunch break soon, Phil. So, the shirts.
Is that right?
Back to the shirts. They're stain resistant.
What time are we doing lunch?
So this is good if you have children that are messy and
Speaking of water resistant, one time I was at the bottom of the ocean.
Oh, are you a deep sea diver?
No, have you seen The Little Mermaid?
I have.
That is actually based on my life.
Alive. I am Phobos. I'm joined back with ThaCheez and FadedPez, who
Hello.
still has a bunch of crap all over his face.
You got stuff all over you, man. What's going on?
I decided to have a party.
You should wash your shirts, really. Gross.
I've never seen pink dandruff before. It's very
It's genetics.
genetic.
It's genetics.
those New Jersey Italians have,
It's from years of spray tan.
it's the orange tan with the dyed hair, and it just
Dang,
causes
bro, too much spray
pink
tan.
dandruff.
Get pink Pink dandruff.
Pink.
Oh my God.
Forget about it.
Forget about it.
Hey,
I'm
it's all
walking
good.
here. So, we like to do, every time on the show, we like to do a discussion regarding some topics that have come up on the forums.
Yes.
To really try to expand those discussions, not necessarily come up with an answer, but spread that discussion a little bit more and try to get people talking about those things. Before we do that, I want to answer two things. One, Too Easy asked about the sensitivity of the sniper rifle, because when you zoom into the first level, it has no sensitivity, and then you zoom in and it gets lower and lower. We have fixed that, so it will be adjustable. There was a problem with the code, so that is fixed and should go out with a patch. Second is, I never promised I would wear a Santa hat on this show.
That's true. You never.
I did.
I never
I
heard
said
those
I'm
words.
not wearing a Santa hat on this.
You
this
never
show.
said that,
I
and
think
I'm not just saying that because you're my boss.
Yeah, I think you're just saying that because he's your boss.
No, I have my own.
I'm
free
pretty
will.
sure he said he was going to wear a Santa hat.
You look very nice today.
You're a horrible suck up. You horrible suck up.
Yeah, terrible.
Anyways, moving on. Besides that, so the discussion we wanted to go with today was PvE end game. And now, when I posted this last night, people were like, what does that mean? That's exactly the question. That is the question that we're trying to decide. What is PvE end game? And this is a question out to you guys in the audience is, what is end game to you? What do you see in Firefall being end game? So we've talked about a whole bunch of different things. So end game for most games is either PvP or raid content. Right? So World of Warcraft is known for its raid content. That's kind of what they really rush people through to get to that raid content. And then that's where people sit for their end game. Other people do PvP is their end game. Like you beat the content in the game, you wipe your hands of it, now you're doing pure PvP. So what is Firefall's PvP? What can we do in Firefall that would create that in-game feeling? We've done instance PvE content. We have done that in the past. We've got some test maps where we've done that. You know, I won't go into detail on what they are because if we use them again, I want them to be a surprise. But we have done this like instance. I bring my squad in and I do something, and it's purely instance to me. And we have epic story, you know, talking about it, and music and fighting, and it's pretty cool.
Especially the music.
So that is possible, but is that the right thing for Firefall? Is that?
Yeah, and I mean, but also to think about it, like in terms of like instancing in the traditional sense, we don't have the tank healer DPS like really like roles like where like a WoW or any other game like that where it's just kind of like you have your tank, you manage threat, you have a lot of hit points, you manage threat and mitigate damage, and then you have your healer that's dedicated to keeping everyone else up, and then the DPS is their sole job is to do damage. We don't have that kind of dynamic. So
yeah, as we've seen with Baneclaw, it's basically like spam damage until he dies.
Yeah.
Right.
I do think that it's possible in a shooter to do better boss battles.
It has been done.
We've seen him in Lost Planet, has some really great boss battles.
Borderlands 2.
has some great boss battles. Metal Gear Solid has boss battles.
Yeah.
Usually it's about targeting specific aspects, and then you hit another stage, and then you target, you know, using the skill component of the shooter to actually move along the stage. But you're absolutely right. Without that, I'm a healer and I'm dedicated to healing my team, and we have a guy that's tanking damage. How do you make sure that all the classes have a role and a purpose in a raid scenario? It's a much harder thing because everybody should be able to shoot. Everybody needs to have that skill. So there's a separation there that needs to happen.
We mentioned the change with the ammo types, right?
Yeah.
Like how you can do different ammos in PvE now, and it's like you can do stuff where it's just like you have a boss that's like maybe like two stages where it's vulnerable to one damage and vulnerable to the next, but immune to the previous one.
Right.
Or maybe it has like adds or other aspects of it that are like vulnerable to one but not the other, and like, you know, split it half and half. There's like a lot of interesting things we can do, but you know, like.
So what do we want to do?
What do we want to do?
And that's the question. So I mean, I'm just to get to the chat here. I'm seeing a lot of comments about some people are hating raids, enough raids. You know, and I can totally understand where you're coming from. After playing WoW for 8 years, you're like, I'm done with raids. I don't want to do a raid again. I'm sick of this. We talked about, some people brought up dynamic content, so being able to call dynamic content, which we totally agree with. I mean, that's a big part of our game.
Yeah.
we've talked about the fact that Chosen Invasions and Chosen Warfront will act as the in-game as well, because it will
Titan
be always
battles.
happening. There's always something going on, so it's not that I've progressed past Chosen War, I don't really care about that. Because you want that to constantly be pushing players around.
Weapon Omega brings up Army versus Army.
Army versus Army, territory control. I mean, we do have open world PvP coming, so that is another in-game content potential. We have talked about a lot of different things with armies that could happen. I think that that's a great question, though. Is in-game content limited to grouped content? What about the solo player in-game? Is there any? I'm trying to think of through any
I was
game
kind
that
of
I
not
played.
thinking
Is
about
there
solo game at all.
is there any solo in-game content? When you think of in-game and MMOs, I almost always think of
It'd
group
have to be a
content.
group. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like if it's like end game content, I don't know how you could have that by yourself.
Well,
I don't know. I'll ask the community as well.
What do you guys think?
Do you guys know of any that has great in-game content? I mean, obviously, single-player games have in-game solo content,
Right.
but it's really just the culmination of the story, and you're doing a single boss battle, and you tuned it for one person. In-game in World of Warcraft require looking for raid and dungeon finder, etc. And that's definitely grew. Public grouping, aka Rift or Guild Wars, those definitely show off that you're solo, but it's still group content, but you're able to join it as a solo player. That's definitely true.
An underground labyrinth of Arana nests.
They're all going to be explosive Ranas.
Lotro's doing 3-man instances.
Yeah.
WoW also does that.
Honestly, I think Lotro had some of the best raid content at low levels. I mean, I never got to level 50, 60 plus, but I love the books in Lotro and going through and hearing the story, and like,
Yeah, those were
it's a
fun.
very epic feeling and some really great stuff there. But yeah, you could do that as lower. DD Online had solo instances as well. So I guess you can do it as solo.
Yeah.
It's just tuning it for the solo player versus the group player.
Mm-hmm.
Is solo in-game content a driving factor for solo players? Are they looking for that in-game content? Because I find that most solo players don't stick around a game long enough to even get to the end game. Right?
But is that because the end game's so group driven and like requires you?
Might be, right?
Right.
At a certain point in high levels of most MMOs, you get to the point where you have to group in order to progress. So are we pushing, as game developers, are we pushing solo players away versus incorporating them? And I think that games like Rift and Guild Wars, etc., with their public questing, Warhammer, with public questing, is possibly a way to help drive that. But in general, total in-game, we've been focusing a lot on solo player. In-game for Firefall, I think it could be quests, or it could be raids. It could be a dungeon-style system.
Could be open world bosses.
Could be open world bosses. Could be the Chosen Warfront, and it could be open world PvP. It could just be regular PvP, competitive PvP. I think the nice thing about Firefall is that we have all these options available to us, right? We're not limited to any one of these things, and we can create different content for solo players, group players, small group, big group, etc. But that's a question. So, question to the community. Please take this back to the forums. What is in-game to you? What is in-game content to you? Not specifically, don't design a dungeon, don't design a raid, etc.
Right.
But what is it to you? What would you see yourself doing? Is it grouped content? Is it solo content? Is it instance content? Is it open world content? Is it PvP? What is in-game to you? So that as we think about those things, we have something to base that off of. So let's get that discussion going a little bit more. I've seen it randomly throughout multiple threads, but bring it up. Come on, let's talk about it and see what we can work on, because we have the technology to do a lot. So it's what do we focus on?
Sweet.
So cool stuff there. Let's talk about fan art.
Let's
contest.
talk about some fan art. So we got your submissions. There were a lot of people are working on stuff for next week, which is totally fine. Just email us all your submissions, community@Red5 Studios, and we'll be able to put those up for next week's stream, which is the last stream before the end of the year, or before we take our break,
Same thing.
our holiday break.
End of the year.
Same
End of the
thing.
year.
So we're gonna show some fan art today from the 3 submissions that we got, and we're going to pick a winner
Real
from
quick
today.
though,
Yeah.
Winner.
the next show is on the last day of the world.
Yeah. It's the end of the world show. We're going to celebrate the end of the world.
What if
here,
it's
live
us here that create the end of the
causes-
world? Yeah.
I don't think
Firefall
we
Live.
have that power.
Yes, we do.
I mean, I like to think of myself as a very powerful person, but
Yeah. I think you could destroy the world. You have it in your power. Yeah.
yeah.
I think when you yell,
It's in your beard.
it's in your beard.
I have the mindset, but I don't know that I have it. But anyways, end of the world show
The
next week.
Firefall is coming 7 days.
That would suck if actually like a meteor like crashed. on-
Yeah.
Firefall Live ends with
A live
meteor
Firefall?
crashing, yeah.
That would be
Anyways,
terrible.
focus on the contest. What is the
Okay.
contest though? Before we get into it,
So the contest is you guys submit your fan art submissions. It can be any type of art. It can be a cake. It could be a clothing design. It could be an art.
Dancing.
It could be a dance. It could be a dance. You submit it on YouTube. Whatever. You can
Music.
make a commercial. You can make any kind of anything that is considered fan art of Firefall. That's the only thing. It has to be about Firefall, spawn off of Firefall, dealing with the world of Firefall.
or Red 5.
Or Red 5. It has to be that. You could make a sculpture of my face out of cheese. Hey, that's a good idea. That'd be delicious. Anyway, you can do whatever you want. However you want to be creative, do it, submit it, and every single month we're going to be picking a winner. We're going to be picking winners to submit to the finalists, and we'll be posting the finalists on the forums, and you guys are going to vote for a winner out of those 4 finalists to win a signed poster from our whole art department,
That's cool.
Including
Yeah.
Steve.
Including Steve.
including Steve.
He's going to be in big block letters with a crayon. So, what art do we have today?
So today we have this from Legend 57. There we go. I knew it
Legend
was a number.
57. I like how you whispered that to him.
Yeah, everyone heard it.
You're on microphone. You could
57.
57.
So he actually created a bunch of these. He
Sorry,
basically took the concept art that we posted and then did a lot of draw overs with different features. This dude's got like a sword on his back and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some kind of cool character concepts, some ideas. It gives us some ideas for character customization. I mean, I'd love
Definitely.
to run around with like henna tattoos and stuff. And
Yeah.
I like
it's
it.
pretty cool. So some cool stuff there from Legend.
Cool looking. He's got a bunch of cool stuff
Yeah.
actually.
Next up, who do we got?
MadMardy.
MadMardy.
That hatter.
Who signed his own artwork. Look at that.
Yeah.
I like it. It's cool. It's like looks like a sketch, and I'm a big fan of like sketches.
Chuck appreciates it.
There we go.
Oh.
There we go. MadMardy.
So,
Yeah, it's-
I think it was created in MS Paint. At least I hope it was, because that's
yeah.
He said he did it in paint.
yeah.
So.
Nice job. I love MS Paint drawings. I've always found it hilarious.
They look good.
How much people can do in MS Paint, like it's crazy. So,
All right.
draws well, cannot make letters. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, next one up. Who do we got? This is called Chosen Power Plant,
This is from who's
which
this
is
from?
pretty
Benier.
freaky.
Who?
Benier.
Benier.
Benier. This is pretty freaky. Yeah. Can you imagine coming up on this?
So what this reminds me of is actually one of Steve's Horde's models, the throne. What's it called? The Throne of Everblade.
The Throne of Everblade.
That's what it. That's what it reminds me of. Like just this giant like walking throne with a little dude on top that's like go, but.
I would be so scared if you just run
It's
into
got like
this and open
Hydra
world.
heads and
Yeah.
like when you cut one off, like more spawn
Yeah.
and then it's just got like Chosen hot pods on top. Like, what's up?
It's pretty cool looking though. I like it.
I like it.
He's got different angles on the forum, so be sure to check that out. It's
He
pretty
posted
cool.
on the So You Think You Can Draw thread. It's pretty cool. And if you want to look at any of the rules or any of the other conversation about it, go to the So You Think You Can Draw posted by myself and ask any questions if you have any. But we accept any and all art forms, such as just this. Perfect.
Right.
So we
Who's
got
the
to
winner?
pick. Dude, we want to. My vote's for MadMardy's. I like MadMardy's.
I like Legends.
Legends, MadMardy.
I'm gonna have to go with MadMardy. It's just because I like MS Paint.
Boom! MS Paint for the win.
No love for the Hatters on my end.
MS Paint is just it's.
All right, so MadMardy, you are moving on to next week, and you are going to challenge whoever else wins from next week, and then we're going to post those two people on the forums. And this month is going to be a short month, obviously, and so we're going to have out of those two choices, the forums are going to choose the winner, and the winner will get sent a poster signed. So MadMardy, you are one win away from a poster if you can beat next week's winner.
I can picture him screaming like a girl right now. What are you, a crab?
I don't know. We're
This is like it's like
walk
art.
sideways?
Let me tell you,
man.
this is a very classy move in the poetry world.
It's deaf artists right here.
Like, oh yeah, brother.
Can we get chat back on the screen though? Somebody minimize that for me.
I can't,
Because I'm about to torture them and I want them to know.
Oh.
Oh crap.
Oh, Kevin's
So-
back.
Kevin is Keita's back. Where you running? Oh god, he's running. Oh.
We're good. We're good.
We're good?
We're good.
Oh.
Don't even worry about it, bro.
Right.
So one of the things that got written on the forums recently was a 12 Days of Firefall Christmas Carol.
12 Days of
It
Firefall.
sure did.
And now we are going to make you all suffer by listening to us sing the 12 Days of Firefall.
Yes.
Tony?
My.
Okay.
All right, anything to drink. All right, let's do this. On the first day of Firefall, the Accord gave to me a bronodon with a saddle just for me. On the second day of Firefall, the Accord gave to me 2 LGVs and a bronodon with a saddle just for me.
Okay, we're just going to skip to the very last one.
Oh, come on.
On the
12th day of Firefall, the Accord gave to me 12 angry bang claws, 11 drop pods bursting, 10 battle frames, 9 melted scraps, 8 threshers charging, 7 Aranas jumping, 6 pounds of crystite, 5 repulsors, 4 glider pads, 3 chosen jawbones, 2 LGVs, and a bronodon with a saddle just for me.
Thanks a lot, guys. It's Firefall Live. We'll see you next week, 10 a.m. Friday. Talk to you later.
Yeah!